Hey guys, it's Chris at Highline Guitars. You're watching another one of my YouTube guitar building videos. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope that by the end of this video, I'll have earned your subscription. So what I'm going to talk about today is I want to revisit the topic of why I don't like to make laminated guitar necks. Now, I made a video about this a while back, and it was clear from a lot of the comments that some folks didn't fully grasp what it was I was talking about, or maybe they didn't hear it. You know, a lot of times people will start to watch a video, then they'll have an idea for a comment. So they'll comment and they'll miss the rest of what I'm talking about. A lot of times folks will comment, continue watching the video, and then I'll explain what it is they were commenting about, so they'll go back in and delete their comment. What they don't realize is as soon as you post the comment, I see it. So just be aware of that. Anyway, I want to try to clarify a little bit better. So please listen to the whole video before you start to comment. In a nutshell, the reason why I don't like to make a laminated guitar neck is because there are a lot of steps involved, and each step must be executed very precisely, and it must follow best practices. The problem with best practices is they aren't always well documented. I mean, they're out there, but they can be fairly hard to source and to understand. And what I'm talking about as far as best practices is the manner in which a laminated guitar neck is produced. And if you don't follow those best practices, what can happen is the neck isn't going to perform the way you expect it to. And the reason we make laminated guitar necks is because they are stronger and can resist breakage as well as warping, bending, and twisting. And when it comes to the best practices, in a nutshell, that means selecting the right kind of wood, orienting the grain properly, using the right kind of glue, gluing it up at the right temperature, and then correctly clamping it in order to maximize the bonding strength between the laminations, and then of course allowing that glue to fully cure. If you forget or skip or do any of those steps incorrectly, the result isn't going to be a laminated neck that's going to perform as you would expect it to. Now, in all likelihood, especially if you're building just one guitar for yourself, you may never notice those kind of issues. However, if you're making guitars and selling them to other people, you owe it to them to make it correctly, because if you're charging a premium for a laminated neck, they deserve to have that kind of quality. And then, of course, if you're just buying guitars and don't plan to make one, when you purchase a premium guitar, and you know, I'm focused mostly here on the boutique luthier. If you're paying that premium price for a laminated neck, you want to know that that laminated neck was made correctly, and it's never going to give you issues. So that's one of the reasons why, or the main reason why I don't like to make laminated necks, is because you have to follow a lot of steps in order to do it correctly. And in truth, if you select a good quality piece of quarter sawn wood, you're going to get just as good a quality. Because a guitar neck, in most cases, you're never going to have to worry about the neck breaking or warping, bending, and twisting if the neck is made with a good piece of quarter sawn wood. And if there's ever any question, you can always reinforce it with carbon fiber, and the result is going to be every bit as strong as a laminated guitar neck. Now, at this point in the video, where perhaps a lot of people will tune out or start commenting, I want to reiterate, I do like laminated guitar necks. I think they look cool, they're fun to make, and if done correctly, they will perform amazingly well. This guitar neck, even though you really can't see it, is made from multiple laminations of oak, and it works flawlessly. I can't feel any seams, despite the fact that the laminations are done almost like a butcher block. So there are seams all over it, but you can't see them and you can't feel them. And this guitar was made almost 2 years ago. So it's performed really well, but it was a lot of work to make it. I could get the same results just from a single slab of maple, quarter sawn maple or quarter sawn mahogany. Now, when I made that video a while back, there was a common theme in the comments, and that was a lot of guys thought it was acceptable, even advisable, to compare the laminated wood that's used in the construction industry with the lamination techniques we use to make a guitar neck. And that simply doesn't work for a couple of reasons. First of all, the laminated lumber used in the construction industry is subject to tremendous amount of regulation, codes, rules, and their own best practices. And in order for wood to be used in construction, it must pass those rules and regulations. At least that's true here in the United States. I can't speak for the rest of the world, although I would imagine in some other countries, the rules and regulations may be even more strict. I don't know. At any rate, because that wood is being used to build a structure that's going to house people, and because people can die when a structure collapses or fails, the wood and all the materials used must pass inspection. And the buildings are subject to codes which must pass inspection. And if they don't, the building has to be torn down and rebuilt to follow those codes and those rules and regulations. Guitar necks are not subject to any sort of code, any kind of rules or regulations. There's nothing. It's anything goes. And I can tell you from watching a lot of YouTube videos, that's exactly what happens. Guys will just grab wood out of a stack or a stash of scrap wood, slap it all together with some wood glue, and think they've got a good laminated neck, when in truth they don't. The scary thing is for those of you out there who are buying guitars, you don't know how that laminated neck was made, because there is no codes or rules and regulations that will protect you when you make that purchase. So that's kind of plays into the reason why I don't like to make laminated guitar necks, because I can make it any way I want to and sell it to you for a premium price, and there's not really anything that you could do. And you would see that it's a laminated neck and that it looks great, and you'd think, this is going to be awesome. I've got a really strong, durable neck. But you may not. You just don't know. And you won't know probably for a year or two down the road, when all of a sudden the wood starts to twist or warp or bend, just like a poorly made neck out of a piece of flat sawn maple. So you really can't compare the wood used in construction with the wood that we use to make our laminated guitar necks, simply because there is no inspection process or codes or rules that we have to follow. Furthermore, and I think this is really important to understand, the forces that are applied to construction lumber, laminated construction lumber, are very different than the forces that are applied to a guitar neck. With laminated construction lumber, it's all about gravity and weight, whereas with a guitar neck, it's all about pulling force. Now, when laminated construction lumber is made, in order for it to be used in the construction process, it must pass rigorous tests, and those tests involve testing its ability to resist gravity and weight. They don't test it for pulling force. With a guitar neck, there is no rules or regulations or codes or anything like that, so there's no testing done to determine whether the wood or the lamination process used is sufficient to resist the breaking, warping, bending, and twisting. If the guitar necks were subject to that, then there would be very specific manner in which you would assemble or construct a guitar neck, and you would have to do that in order for the neck to pass inspection. But there's no inspection process, and to some extent that's a good thing for luthiers because it allows maximum creativity. But for the buyer, it doesn't ensure that the neck that's on the guitar that you just purchased, that you just paid a premium for, is made to any sort of specification. So, you know, who knows what you're getting. Now, another couple of interesting comments that I've received on that video was comparing other types of laminated wood products with guitar necks. And the two items that were compared were laminated wooden airplane propellers, and laminated archery bows. Now, in the case of archery bows, there is some similarity in the type of forces that are applied. It's string pull. However, there's a couple of problems with that. First of all, the string pull only occurs when you draw the string back and then you release it. So it's very temporary. With a guitar neck, it's constant. A guitar neck is constantly under at least 300 pounds of pulling force from the strings. The bow isn't. The other problem is there's no data that exists to support laminated bow construction and its effectiveness or its rate of failure. We don't know. We just have to assume that laminated bows are better, but we have no evidence to support that whatsoever. And that's important in this day and age when you're trying to justify the price of your guitars. You have to be able to justify that. And when it comes to laminated bows, there's just no information about it. But one thing you can consider is that most archery bows being sold today in the world are made out of metal and composites. They don't even use wood anymore because they've realized that wood isn't as strong and resistant to pulling forces as the metal and composite designs. The same is true with wooden airplane propellers. We stopped using laminated wooden propellers in the late 30s, early 1940s, when it was obvious that metal and composite materials were far more durable than the wooden propellers. Wooden propellers still fail. Now, I suppose you could point to the vintage aircraft restoration industry and say, well, they're still using laminated propellers. Yes, but look at how those propellers are made. They follow very specific manufacturing techniques to ensure durability and strength. And I would imagine, I don't know this for sure, but I would imagine that before one of those propellers can be used on an aircraft, it must pass an inspection process. Guitar necks don't. Those are the reasons why I'm not a big fan of making laminated guitar necks. It takes a lot of work, and there's no way that I can have the neck inspected, pass an inspection, and therefore justify the price that I'm going to charge. I would rather just make a neck out of a single piece of quarter sawn maple and, if necessary, reinforce it with carbon fiber, and I'm every bit as good to go as a laminated guitar neck. So I hope that all makes sense, and I realize it's going to spark some more controversy, and I'm going to probably get all kinds of hate comments down there and people telling me I don't know what I'm talking about, but you know, I think that there's enough of you out there who will say, yeah, that's right. Guitar necks aren't inspected. There are no rules and regulations. There is no code. It's anything goes. So just think about that the next time you want to make a laminated neck, and really think about it the next time you want to buy a guitar that's made with a laminated neck. So until the next episode, as always, take care, stay safe. Please give the video a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. Hit that subscribe button. You won't miss any more of my guitar building videos as I put them out in the future. And be sure to visit Highline Guitars merch store, eguitarplans.com. Click the thanks button. Any contribution can help to support this channel and will keep me making more videos. So until the next episode, take care, stay safe, and I hope you'll be back for future episodes.